Hello, welcome to the Management Channel. In this section, we are going to talk about organizational behavior. Some of the ideas that we're going to look at is we're going to have an introduction to organizational behavior. We're going to look at the four perspectives of organizational effectiveness. We're going to examine the organizational learning perspectives. We're going to examine organizational challenges. And we're going to discuss the anchors of organizational behavior knowledge. So, first of all, let's start off with what exactly is an organization. It's groups of people who work interdependently towards some purpose. Organizational behavior is the study of what people think, feel, and do in and around the organization. And in quotes, it's the study of actions that affect performance in the workplace. That's the official definition. There are three levels of focus in organizational behavior: the individual, the group, and the organization. Each of those have an impact on the organization's behavior. Why should we study it? Well, number one, we need to satisfy the need to understand and predict so we can determine why things happen in organizations. It helps us to test personal theories of management. It helps influence behavior, get things done with and through others. It improves an organization's financial health. It's for everybody, benefits everyone, no matter what profession or what position they have in the organization. And it's all about understanding how and why things happen as they do. Now, in every organization, there is politics. What is politics? Well, it's the process of gaining and using power. It's a medium of exchange, and it's a means of getting what we want. But sometimes it's just plain old, you got it, butt kissing. There are three main types. One, networking, the process of developing relationships for the purpose of socializing and career building. Reciprocity, the creation of obligations and the development of alliances that are used to accomplish objectives. And coalition building, a network of alliances that help a manager achieve a specific objective. Guidelines for developing political skills. Well, learn the organizational culture, learn the power players, impress your boss, but don't ever surprise him. Keep them in the know. Don't gossip. Be a team player. Stay tuned into the grapevine so you know what's going on. And resolve any conflicts. Don't let any conflicts happen, and if they do, resolve them quickly. An organization is basically judged by how effective they are. The old approach was merely to achieve the stated goals established. However, the problem was that leadership could set easy goals, something even easily attainable, or the goals established might lead the company in the wrong direction. The four perspectives of organizational effectiveness are: open systems perspective, organizational learning perspective, high performance WP perspective, and stakeholder perspective. Also need to consider all four perspectives when assessing a company's effectiveness. Sometimes there may be more than one. So the open system basically is a perspective that organizations depend on the external environment for resources. It affects that environment through their output and consists of internal subsystems that transform all the inputs into outputs. Thus, they live within and depend upon the external environment and maintain a close fit with the changing conditions. The open systems perspective is a foundation on which the other three effectiveness perspectives are built upon. The organizational learning perspective states the organization's effectiveness depends on their capacity to acquire, share, use, and store valuable knowledge. needs to consider both stock and flow of knowledge. Stock can be intellectual capital. Flow, the organizational learning processes of acquisition, sharing, use, and storage. Intellectual capital. Well, first of all, human capital, knowledge that the people possess and generate. Very important. Structural capital, knowledge captured in systems and structures. Relationship capital, value derived from the satisfied customers, your reliable suppliers, and sometimes your outsourced partners. Intellectual capital is nurtured through four learning processes: knowledge acquisition by learning, scanning, grafting, and experimenting; knowledge sharing through communications, training, observation, and obviously through the IT infosystems; and knowledge use, awareness, sense making, autonomy, and empowerment. Again, empowerment, such an important word. Knowledge storage, human memory, documentation, practices and habits, and your databases. High performance work practices. It's a perspective which holds that effective organizations incorporate several workplace practices that leverage the potential of human capital. There are four practices: employee involvement, again, empowerment; job autonomy. Both of these strengthen employee motivation. It improves their decision making, their responsiveness, and their commitment to change as needed. Employee competence. Employees are recruited with relevant skills, knowledge, values, and personal characteristics that fit the corporate mold. So it's wise to invest in employee training and development. Performance skill-based rewards. Performance and skill development are linked to financial and non-financial rewards that are used to help improve those and the values sought after by employees. Stakeholder perspective. Individuals, organizations, or entities who affect or are affected by the organization's objectiveness and actions. Stakeholders are your employees, stockholders, your suppliers, the labor unions, government, customers, and so much more. Stakeholder values and ethics prioritize stakeholder interests. So, what are values? Stable, evaluative beliefs guide preferences for outcomes or courses of action in various situations. Ethics are the moral principles, values, determine whether actions are right or wrong, and whether or not the outcomes are good or bad. A corporate social responsibility is organizational activities intended to benefit society and the environment beyond their basic obligations. Stakeholder perspective includes CSR, in that they benefit society and environmental beyond the firm's immediate financial interests or legal obligations, and organizations contract with society. Triple bottom line: economy, improve and provide jobs; society, maintain and improve conditions; and environment, become greener, don't pollute the neighborhood you're working in. Globalization, it's the economic, social, and cultural connectivity with people in other parts of the world. Improved communication and transportation systems have now made it a lot easier to do business globally. The effects of globalization on organizations are cost efficiency, innovation, knowledge, an increasing diversity workforce, increasing competitive pressures, and intensification. Increasing your workforce diversity. Well, what does surface level diversity mean? It's the observable demographic or physiological differences in people, such as their age, race, gender, ethnicity, and so forth. Deep level diversity, though, is the differences in the psychological characteristics of employees, their personality, their beliefs, values, and their attitudes. Increasing your workforce diversity. The consequences of diversity provide both challenges and opportunities, so it's a double edged sword, right? Diversity provides diverse knowledge with many skills and experiences, and you're able to make better decisions on complex problems. It also provides challenges because it's difficult now to make a cohesive team. There might be conflict due to diverse nature of the team. Evidence-based management is simply the practice of making decisions and taking actions based on research evidence. There are four anchors of behavior knowledge: systematic research, multidisciplinary, contingency, and multiple levels of analysis. Systematic research anchors should be based on systematic research involving forming research questions, collecting data, and testing those hypotheses. It produces evidence based management. Decisions and actions are based on research evidence rather than fads, hype, or untested assumptions. A multidisciplinary anchor, many OB concepts adopted from other disciplines. Organizational behavior develops its own theories but scans other fields and other competition. A contingency anchor is an action that may have different consequences in different situations. No single solution is always the best. So, you need to understand and diagnose the situation and select a strategy most appropriate for the situation. 3 levels of analysis within the multiple levels of analysis anchor: individual, characteristics and behaviors, as well as thought processes. Team looks at the way people interact together within a group. And organizational, how people structure their working relationships and how organizations interact with the environment. So that concludes this particular section. Be sure to see Global Management and Culture, where you can see organizational behavior in different parts of the world. Thank you for being with me. Have a wonderful day.